appreciate everybody coming today. I just want to mention it's a little warm in the courtroom today, so we just set 2 new air conditioners on the roof today, but they won't be connected today. So hopefully that will ensure we have a speedy meeting today. I'd like to call to order the Fayette County Commissioners meeting Tuesday, April 16th at 10:03 a.m. Please stand for silent prayer. And please turn toward the flag for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any public comment on any of the agenda items today?
Roger.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Riley is supposed to be there to do something. I would like to request that you, on my resignation, postpone it until we get this other stuff straightened out in regards to our deputies being paid. If that's all right with you all.
You're asking us to postpone it, or are you withdrawing your resignation?
Well, I guess I can withdraw if I need to.
You have to tell us what you want us to do.
Let's do a withdrawal, okay? Until we get this other stuff straightened out. That's
Without
reasonable.
objection?
I have no objection to it.
Okay. Do we need to talk anymore?
No.
No, we'll vote on it whenever
Yeah,
the matter comes up on the agenda.
Okay, I have no idea what Dr. Riley wants to say to you all. I would like to have you all get together with me and Dr. Riley here in the next week or so. I would like to make some amendments to the contract. If you all can get together with us, it would be a great help. And like I said, we want to make this with our deputies.
Very good.
Okay?
Thank you, Roger.
We're going to go ahead and leave. Anything you need?
Nope.
Give me a call.
Thank you, Roger.
Okay, thank you.
Guys?
Okay, any other public comments on the agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to the proclamations. The first proclamation will be for the Equal Pay Day. Are there anybody here for that proclamation? Please come on up. Okay, under Equal Pay Day, whereas 40 years after the passage of the Equal Pay Act and Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, women and people of color continue to suffer the consequences of inequitable pay differentials. And whereas according to the two statistics released in 2012 by the U.S. Census Bureau, year-round full-time working women in 2011 earned only 77% of the earnings of year-round full-time working men, indicating little change or progress in pay equity. And whereas, according to a January 2002 report released by General Accounting Office, the investigative arm of Congress, excuse me, women managers in 7 of 10 industries surveyed actually lost ground in closing the wage gap between 1995 and 2000. And whereas, according to an analysis of data in over 300 classifications provided by the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics in 2001, women earn less in every occupational classification for which enough data is available. including occupations dominated by women, i.e. cashiers, retail sales, registered nurses, and teachers. And whereas higher education is not free from wage discrimination according to a U.S. Department of Education analysis, reporting that after controlling for rank, age, credentials, field of study, and other factors, full-time female faculty members earn nearly 9% less than their male counterparts. And whereas over a working lifetime, this wage disparity costs the average American woman and her family $700,000 to $2 million in lost wages, impacting Social Security benefits and pensions. And whereas fair pay equity policies can be implemented simply and without undue cost or hardship in both public and private sectors. And whereas fair pay strengthens the security of families today and eases future retirement costs while enhancing the American economy. Whereas Tuesday, April 9th, symbolizes the time in the new year in which the wages paid to American women catch up to the wages paid to men from the previous year. Now therefore, the Fayette County Commissioners do hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 9th, 2013 as Equal Pay Day in Fayette County, and urge the citizens of Fayette County to recognize the full value of women's skills and significant contributions to the labor force. And further encourages businesses to conduct an internal pay evaluation to ensure women are being paid fairly. In witness of, I have hereunder set my hand to cause this official seal of Fayette County to be affixed on date April 16, 2013. Signed by the County Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we would like to thank all the commissioners for your continued support. We have been here many years now, and we really appreciate your continued support of our causes. We had a great rally last Tuesday outside on the steps of the courthouse, and we thank you. Gina, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I'd like to thank you all for bringing and continuing to bring this to the public's attention, because this is kind of, for decades, had fallen below the radar. And now with the Lilly Ledbetter Act being passed, you know, this is becoming more and more announced to the people of not only Fayette County, but the people of the nation as a whole. And hopefully, with that type of knowledge, you will see that inequity will start to diminish. But it's taken a long time since I spoke to you guys at BPW back in 2001. Yes.
Yes, it has. So thank you. Thank you. I'll get it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you, man. Who's up next? No.
Is there anyone here from mental health? Want to come on up, please?
I won't be here yet.
Hello. You can come a little bit closer. We don't like. They say we do, but we really don't.
Not hard.
Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2013. Whereas mental health is fundamental to overall health, and good mental health results in productive activities, fulfilling relationships with others, and the ability to adapt to change and to cope with adversity. Whereas the mental health and well-being of the residents of Fayette County is a critical issue that affects not only the quality of life, but also the health of our communities, families, and economic stability. Whereas the World Health Organization found that mental illness is the top-ranking cause of disability in the United States and the most prevalent health problem in America today. Whereas scientific research is promoting tremendous breakthrough in the understanding of these brain disorders, resulting in more effective treatments that allow people to reclaim full and productive lives. Whereas brain disorders continue to remain shrouded in stigma and discrimination from prejudice, causing those who are affected by severe mental illness either to not seek care or to be cast as second-class citizens who unfairly receive far less employment opportunities than others suffering from equally deliberate physical disabilities. Whereas research shows that the most effective way to reduce stigma is through personal contact with someone with a mental illness. And whereas a greater public awareness about mental illness can change negative attitudes and behaviors toward people with mental illness. Hereby proclaimed by the Fayette County Commissioners, Mental Health Awareness Month 2013, May of 2013. Thank you. Want to say a few words?
As Commissioner Zimmerly said, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We have a pamphlet up here that has a calendar of events for the month of May that different provider organizations are having. This is Wendy Dougherty from one of our providers, Chestnut Ridge Mobile Psych Rehab, and she'd like to say a few words about the program. And these are two of our mental health consumers who also would like to say a few words. Sure.
I work with the Mobile Psychiatric Rehabilitation Program through Chestnut Ridge, and our program goes into the community, into the people's homes, into the programs like Clubhouse, Oak House, and we work with them on living, learning, working, social, and wellness aspects of their life for them to become more independent so that they can do more, they can live on their own, they can work on their own. We teach budgeting, cooking, skills that people that may not have. And the ultimate goal is for them to become completely independent, do for themselves, and break the stigma and stereotypes of mental illness, because recovery is possible, probable, and likely. This is Donna Raymond, and this is Shannon Saltis, and they just wanted to tell a little bit about their stories.
I came here from Illinois about 2 years ago. This place has really helped me. I thank God for Pennsylvania, my psychiatrist, and all the help on the classes and the groups I took in, and I thank God for Wendy, she's my psych.
I'm Shannon Saltis. I'd like to thank you for all your help that you do for Chestnut Ridge, getting my help with my services up there, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get one group picture?
Thank you.
Present. I'm going to get two. There's one. And one more. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and sharing your story. Thank you very much.
I will. Thank you.
Yes, appreciate it.
Okay, the next proclamation is for the Foster Parent Appreciation Month.
It'd be my honor. Good morning. Foster Parent Appreciation Month. Whereas the family serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support, and this very foundation of our community. And in Fayette County, there are 120 children and youth in foster care being provided with a safe, secure, stable home, along with compassion and nurture of a foster family. And all young people in foster care need meaningful connection to a caring adult who becomes a supportive and lasting presence in their lives. Foster, kinship, adoptive families who open their homes and hearts and support children whose families are in crisis play a vital role in helping our children and families heal and reconnect, thereby launching young people into a successful adulthood. And dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for more foster families. And there are numerous individuals and public, private organizations who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care, as well as the enduring valuable contribution of foster parents. And the foster care system is only as good as those who choose to be a part of it. Therefore, we do hereby proclaim May as National Foster Parent Appreciation Month and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and neglect and strengthening the communities in which we live in. I'd like to thank you all.
These are two of our foster moms, generational foster moms. It's very generational. Our agency would be nowhere without these families that take these kids in, and I am so appreciative of all the work they do in helping to keep our kids safe. And thank you.
It takes a special person to bring in a child, a stranger, if you will, and to embrace that child with open arms and to provide, at that moment, probably the most important aspect of an emotion that child needs, which is love. So I can't thank you enough for what you do for the young people of this county.
And for the acknowledgement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Could we get a picture of this?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Is everybody?
Okay, item 5, the
I
assessment.
make a
office.
motion to approve the proclamations as read.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the assessment office. Consider approval of the following for a real estate tax exemption as they have been deemed 100% disabled veterans by the Veterans Administration of Pennsylvania effective for the 2013 tax year. Albert Court, 9 Gilmore Avenue, Masontown, parcel 21-11-0189-01.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Gary R. Haynes, 591 River Road, Perryopolis, PA, parcel 27-04-0120.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to send Assessor Candace Cahill to the CCAP North Office, Harrisburg, PA, for 9 hours of continuing education classes. Date of classes May 29th and 30th. Instructions and material fees at a cost of $275. Overnight stay in Mills to be determined.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider authorizing an RFP for demolition of a county-owned parcel in Point Marion Borough.
Move.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries.
I think for something like this, number one, we do need to identify which parcel it is, and also to make certain that we've exhausted all other efforts for that demolition, which would be maybe perhaps contacting the local fire department, see if they want to use that as part of their fire school.
They're no longer permitted to do that under their insurance.
And
I
then,
mean, you need to burn it as a form of training. They're no longer permitted to do that.
and then also, we do have later on the agenda our repository sale. I suggested perhaps we wait at least 1 month to see if anyone would bid on it. And then also, I think a request for proposal would be the proper, depending on the amounts. I know that we can do some bids and telephone quotes to determine.
Well, that's what the motion is, to send out a request for proposal.
Request for proposals and bids and two different things. That's for code. It's voted on.
Okay, item 6, Behavioral Health Administration, consider approval of the following agreements and modifications. Base contract agreement for 2012-13 for the Connellsville Counseling and Psychological Services at a contract value of $3,000 from July 1st, 2012 to 6/30, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. The EI contract agreement 2012 to 2013, Connellsville Counseling and Psychological Services.
Move. That's still, we're still under agreements.
Commonwealth funded.
Yeah.
This is for all three, the base contract, the EI contract, and the modification agreement.
I'll make a motion to support all agreements and modifications.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider awarding a contract for bid number 13-05 for the lease of 7 multifunction printer copier machines to Ancom Office Systems, 3600 McLaren Woods Drive, Coraopolis, PA, at a monthly cost of $1,131.90 for 60 months, with a total cost of $67,900.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Children and Youth Services. Consider approving approval of a lease agreement for RFP 13-05 for office rental space between Joseph Alino and Fayette County Children and Youth Services at a cost of $1,000 per month.
Move.
I move to award the RFP 1305 for the rent. We should be awarding rent.
Yeah, I think
Just change it, consider awarding RFP 1305 for instead of approval.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8, the Controller's Financial Condition Accounting Report.
Thank you, Commissioners, for your approval dated this 16th day of April 2013. In our general fund balance in cash held at United Bank, we have $2,327,386.18. Monies that are owed to our general fund as listed on the agenda are $1,440,000. The ARC payments that are due as listed on the report are $454,216.97. Our central service payments as listed are $78,686. Funds that our general fund owes, our tax anticipation note of $5 million. In the budget year so far to date, our net position is negative $699,710.85. Revenues collected in 2013 to date are $6,550,070.51. 2013 expenditures thus far are $7,634,253.91. Total of 2012 expenditures that are paid in 2013 is $1,445,545.53. In our capital reserve fund balance, we have $27,171.75. In our bond fund balance, we have $306,932.3.
Thank you, Controller.
Any questions for the Controller? Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Item 9, the coroner. Under that, we should change this to table this or obviously Roger was here earlier and requested that his resignation letter be until further notice so we can discuss some issues.
And Commissioners, I want to remind that Roger is a 1099 employee. A resignation letter per se is really not applicable. It would be a cancellation of his agreement with a 30-day out that would be proven on a letter of resignation.
That's what was put on the agenda.
I understand. I'm just clarifying the points.
Right, it should have stated he terminated the agreement to accept the resignation since he's not a salaried employee. Regardless, he did state earlier that he wishes to withdraw his request to terminate the agreement.
Well, at this point, we still have to act on the item on the agenda as it was listed, so I make a motion to deny the request for resignation or termination of the contract.
Well,
I mean, we have to act on the motion, do we not?
the motion, what's written on the agenda is to accept the resignation of Roger. So we would have to act on that and then amend the agenda to accept the withdrawal of his termination letter.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me, I haven't seen his letter, but it sounds to me like you have a situation where, according to the controller,
It's not a valid.
what he submitted was invalid to begin with.
Does anyone have that letter? Did he withdraw his, was it a resignation or did it also state that? I understand. Did it also state to terminate a contract?
What I do have is a copy of his existing agreement.
Well,
We have it, hold on.
Under the actual circumstances.
It's a moot, yeah. It actually says, I deeply regret that I must resign, so it would be an invalid, as Solicitor Berkeley just said, it's invalid, so how do you take action on an invalid item? You just state that it's invalid and move on,
Yeah,
correct?
I think
That would be the better thing to do, so let's.
right, so,
Okay, so Roger's,
well, I think for the record, we should list that item 9 is an invalid entry on the agenda, and no action will be taken.
Yes.
Correct. We don't have to vote on that, you
Okay.
just stated that.
Yeah, and I think you've indicated why it was invalid, because it was a resignation letter and not a termination of the agreement letter.
Right. And then also, we would not need to then amend the agenda to vote on a resolution to terminate the contract because he doesn't want that at that
That
time.
would be correct.
Okay. Next item.
Item 10, Human Services Department. Under the Bridge Department, consider approving the motion of mechanic welder James Youngkin and working supervisor at a rate of $14.38, effective April 16, 2012.
Move.
Hold on one second. Dominic sent all of us an update, so it should actually say, approve the promotion of mechanic welder James Youngkin as working supervisor at SEIU pay grade 13, step B, $14.38 an hour. $28,041 effective. Is this the latest? Is this here? This has April 22nd. This is the latest?
Do I have an old agenda here? Is there an agenda?
No, there's one extra sheet. Yeah, one
Supplement?
extra sheet there, yes, I leave it there.
It's April 22nd. He sent, Dominic sent this to all of us, what, yesterday? To Al, Angela, Kathy, Nicole, Amy.
Yeah. But that might be it. You do that.
That's okay.
I just read it. Yeah. Okay, so we would say April 22nd, 2013. I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Next item under Commissioner's Office, consider approving the hire of Megan Leidig as summer clerk at $7.25 an hour effective May 6th, 2013.
Megan Leidig.
Yes.
Okay, that differs from the initial
Yes.
one then.
Yeah, this is on
You're-
supplemental.
Okay,
Well, you're just going out of order on the agenda, correct?
I'm reading off the supplemental sheet.
What supplemental sheet? That's just an email. Yeah, but we still have, that's not a supplemental sheet to an agenda. We still have to do those other ones that's on the agenda too.
so
Okay. Well, this is going to be the third item.
Just
Consider-
for ease of following an agenda and for the chief's clerk, just go with Jessica. When you get down to item number 3, you just insert Megan's name.
Consider approving the hire of Jessica Ann Arbor as a summer clerk at $7.25 effective May 6th, 2013.
move.
That, I would second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider
Nay.
approving the hire of Brad Wendell as a summer clerk at $7.25 per hour effective May 6th, 2013.
Move.
Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The next item is consider approving the hire of Megan Leidig as summer clerk at $7.25 per hour effective May 16th.
Move.
Second, all those in favor?
Did you say May what, 6th? Or did you say 16th?
May 6th.
6th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The fourth position will not be considered. There is nobody for that position as of this time. Consider ratifying the,
Excuse me. Since it's on the agenda, we still have to take action. I would move the table.
I will second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratifying the resignation of county caseworker Lewis Richards effective April 5th, 2013.
Move.
Hold on. Second. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under the Emergency Management Agency, consider approving.
You could do them all.
Yeah, I was gonna
These
say,
are all the
if
same.
you- yeah, I don't have any objection if you do all of
No
them.
objection either.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the temporary hire of Ricky Stark, Craig Lindsay, Erica Gross, Paula Condro, Brittany Stewart as a 911 dispatcher trainee at a hourly rate of $8.50 each. All of them effective April 16th, 2013.
Move.
I-
You
I-
move second, I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under the Fayette County Behavioral Health Agency, consider approving a promotion of caseworker 2 Benjamin Grable to caseworker supervisor at $17.44 an hour, effective April 22nd, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under Planning and Zoning, consider approving the transfer of Election Bureau Clerk 2, Leonard Minnick to Planning and Zoning Technician 1 at SEIU pay grade 11, step A at $13.08 an hour, effective June 3rd, 2013.
With a salary of $25,506.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Under Veterans Affairs,
I'll move to approve the promotion of Perry Russell from a per diem van driver to a full-time van driver at SEIU pay grade 3, step A, $10 an hour, $19,500, effective April 16th, 2013.
Move. Second. Sorry.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Eugene Barchetti as a per diem van driver driver at $60 per day effective April 17th, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Under information technology, consider approval of an RFP for an assessment of current information technology in various Fayette County offices and make recommendations regarding newer technology solutions and how each would benefit Fayette County for an IT needs assessment.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 12, juvenile probation. Consider approving a motion to rescind resolution 13-02-19-24 to enter into a lease agreement for a 2013 Chevy Traverse for a 5-year term. They Centennial Incorporated fleet sales with an annual payment of $6,283.72 through a cooperative leasing program.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Office of Human and Community Services, consider approval of property machine lease with Ford Business through CoStars for 2 copiers at $241.45 per month for 60 months effective May 1st, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the consolidated operating shared ride PWD, WTW fixed route, and consolidated capital application for fiscal year 13-14 to be electronically submitted to PennDOT.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Consider approval for the application of 5310 formula funding through FTA for fiscal year 13-14 to be used for fixed route operations and capital.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to advertise a public hearing, public participation panel for projects for May 28, 2013 at 9 a.m. at the Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation Office.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratifying tire lease extensions with Bridgestone from April 1st through June 30th, 2013.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider placing on the agenda advertising the sale of the following vehicles as listed that have extended their useful life, that have exceeded their useful life in years and or miles.
This is probably, I'll move to authorize a bid for the sale of the vehicles as listed on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 14, planning and zoning. Consider RZ 13-1 Aaron Mutsa, North Union Township, requesting an extension of an R2 high-density residential on property currently zoned B1 general business.
Make a motion that we accept the request for an extension of R2 high residential on the property currently zoned B1. Or approve, I should say.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't present at the hearing.
Consider approval of Community Development Specialist Arthur Capella's participation in the United States Department of Energy's conference in Denver, Colorado on April 29th through May 2nd. Attendance of this conference is 100% grant reimbursement from the DOE.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Under tax claim, consider adoption of the attached policies and procedures for the county repository sale to be effective May 2013.
Move.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Before we approve that, we have to agreed to, remember, I sent an email out for item number 6, the amount. If you look at the policy, the procedure, number 6, the minimum bid accepted, we have to agree on that before we pass it.
Okay, well,
There's
you want to add the minimum bid to the motion? You can add the minimum bid to the motion, or we're going to add a motion?
No, the minimum bid is one of 24 procedures. We have to fill in the blank for what the minimum bid is going to be. Us three have to decide the minimum bid. So, what do you guys, does anyone have any suggestions? We have, there's approximately 209 parcels on our repository bid, or a repository list. So it's basically, we have, if you looked at the list, there's some that have the administrative cost. We all saw that it went anywhere between about 150 up to 400. And I think the average was, if you look at it, the average was about 200, two and a quarter, I think, right? So what we have to decide is, are we going to set a minimum bid, which would be the actual administrative costs, or are we going to set a minimum bid like other counties do, $50 per parcel, $100 per parcel? And then there are a few on the repository list that the county office was unable to determine what the administrative costs were because the sales were so long ago. So we have to come up with a specific amount for those.
Well, I would think that there should be administrative costs associated with the bid.
So you want to do the actual, we all in agreement doing the actual administrative costs?
Into the overall cost, yes.
Well, as you just stated, some of the actual costs are not attainable.
Well, that's just one of 3 decisions we have to make. The ones that are attainable, which is listed on the document that we all received, it says actual administrative cost. So we would accept that. For those that have none listed, right here and now, we can come up with an amount, because there's no way that the county office will ever be able to come up with that. We can set a minimum bid. And I would suggest maybe like $100 for those. And the reason I would suggest 100 for those is because if you look at the actual cost, the lowest is 150, the highest is around 400. So something in the medium.
So it would be $100 for those that we cannot determine the admin side, and then the
actual cost.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And then the only other thing, and then we can always revisit it. I know that it is our intention that we have this repository sale to get the properties out of the hands and the ownership of the county. If we don't receive any bids, we can always revisit it and change the minimum bid. And in a couple of months, a year, you can revisit that, correct? That's what I
What you can, and I think that's a good suggestion, the way you're doing it. The only thing in talking to John, and we had talked about this, I think, at maybe 2 meetings ago, the possibility, and I've checked, of adding a depreparation fee as well. You may want to include that as part of the minimum bid. I mean, the $25, I think, is what we had talked about, and I checked in other counties. That seems to be a number, and that's, extremely low depreparation fee.
Would that be
also, insert some revenues into it, and it's something that, I think people expect as well.
Well, there were 2 items that we needed to address before we pass it, and then the first one is item number 6, the minimum bid, and then item number 21, if we wanted to add the words depreparation. So we're not done with item number 6.
I think that's acceptable too, the deed preparation, because there are costs associated with preparing these properties for this. I mean, granted, our ultimate goal is to have the county we inherit these properties, and we inherit the liability, we inherit everything. So the objective, of course, is to get rid of the properties, and we want to make it as affordable, but yet, we do have some costs that we incur, and I don't think those are outrageous cost if you're looking at $25 for deep prep or whatever the case may be.
I mean, in a standard real estate transaction, those fees are anywhere from $150 to $250 and sometimes more.
Well, the only problem is you have to look at the reason why these properties are with us is because nobody's willing to pay anything for them thus far. That's part of the problem.
Right, you want the back end of the taxing system and,
Yeah.
productive pieces.
And, some of them are in need of not only repair, but quite frankly, demolition.
Well,
Yeah, then why don't you just go with what Commissioner Zimmerlich has suggested as far as the minimum bid, and then visit the deed preparation in 21.
and actually, it's an item number 20. What procedure 20 just simply says is the successful bidder will submit to the Bureau the affidavit along with full payment for recording fee, transfer tax, and/or bill of sale for the mobile home. We would just add deed preparation. And that was just another thing that we needed to discuss because, as Solicitor Berkeley said, some counties do add a fee. I sent both of them, and as well as you, an email on whether or not we wanted to add that deed prep cost, and if so, if it would be $25. And you said the county code said that you could do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it says cost, so and I think that's been interpreted.
Okay,
to
so-
include that.
Okay. So number 20, we will add the words deed preparation. And then for number 6, we would say the minimum deed accepted is the actual administrative cost as listed on the repository list, as per the repository list. Because we would, after this meeting, we will insert $100 into those blank ones and address it, correct?
Yes.
That's fine.
Did you make, well, you guys,
Well, we made a motion, though. Do we want to,
did they vote on that? Did they vote on that? They voted on that before I tried to stop. Just rescind your
I'd
motion.
like to rescind my motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Now, would you like to read the motion?
Make the motion with the additions.
Well, it wouldn't be additions because we just filled in the blanks. It would be, I move to adopt the procedure to submit a sealed repository bid for the county repository sales to be effective May 1st, 2013.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 16, consider ratification of the following transfers as listed for a total debits of $12,542 and credits the same.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the March 19, 2013 regular commissioner meeting minutes.
Move.
Second. All those in favor?
Abstain.
Aye.
Wasn't it?
Motion carries. Consider approval of a deed of easement for the Dunbar Borough Township Sanitary Authority Sanitary Sewage Extension Project Phase 3.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of a corrective resolution concerning compensation of tax collectors.
I asked if the agenda meeting if you had any other changes to the, Attorney Kopp had forwarded a draft, a proposed resolution for clarification, and Attorney Berkeley, you emailed back and said it was okay to me. Is there any other changes? The only thing we have to do, the only thing we'd have to do is just fill in the 2 blanks.
But it is clear now, based on the language, that the billing would only be for the initial submission. Not for anything in addition to, would only be whatever materials and supplies that would be incurred by the county.
You want me to just read what he proposed? I can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, there were 3 resolutions that Board of Commissioners had passed, one in 2004 and then 2 subsequent ones which increased. The first increased the rate. The first one said per bill, per issue. But apparently per issue was not clear enough for tax collectors to understand per issue meant per issue, right? It's because it said, if you read the 2004 resolution, that's what it said. But at any rate, what was written and approved by the solicitors, whereas the County of Fayette desires to clarify its position regarding compensation of tax collectors, and whereas such policy has not addressed the mailing of a second and subsequent tax notices, whereas the policy regarding mailing the first notice of ad valorem. You want to tell us what that Latin means?
That means to the value. That's the millage applied to the assessed valuation, that particular tax. There are some municipalities that add other taxes.
We knew that when we said it.
You're smarter than a 5th grader.
Real estate taxes in the only notice that per capita tax has been clearly addressed by resolution dated December 10, 2004. Whereas publication of the policy regarding mailing such additional tax notices aids in the clarity of the county's position regarding remuneration to tax collectors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners determines that local tax collectors of ad valorem real estate taxes shall be subject to the following compensation schedule. Before I read this, you received Controller Lawley this as well. It has your name up here that you did, so.
The section that you're particularly reading, I don't remember receiving that on my email.
Okay, it was sent out March 14th.
But after you go through this, I'd like to give some history too, as well as how we got to this point and the reason that I brought all of this to your attention, because it is relevant.
Okay, well, I'm reading a motion, so can you do that after?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. The amount of now therefore be it resolved, the amount of compensation paid to the tax collector for mailing a second notice shall be $2.20 per bill. That's what we have now. The actual cost for mailing second notices shall be reported on forms authorized by the county controller and accompanied by a copy of receipts. There shall be no compensation for mailing any per capita notice beyond the first mailing. Second mailings of ad valorem. We said it 3 times. Valorem. Real estate tax notices shall be limited to those required by statute. There shall be no third mailing unless entirely at the expense of the tax collector. Adopted as a resolution of Fayette County this 16th day of April 2013 by the Board of Commissioners. That's my
Commissioners,
I'll second the motion for discussion. Now go.
in that resolution, you mentioned per capita billing, but you didn't set a rate of remuneration for that, and the statute states that 15 cents per capita bill is the usual and customary charge.
Yeah.
Well, that's what our resolution.
That's what the prior resolution says, is 15 cents. It says here, there shall be no compensation for mailing any per capita notice beyond the first mailing.
Right. And as part of when I asked to interject, the reason that this all became an issue is that we had certain tax collectors that had an exorbitant amount of postal expenses that were billed to the county. In one particular example, which I can't elaborate to because it's still subject to audit, they had 600 parcels but billed for 4,500 envelopes. That was an approximate cost of around $2,700 to the county in one fiscal year. There was no way mathematically that he could have sent 8 letters to each tax parcel in that particular district. So that is what created this issue. And when I started to do the research, it came down to an error in statement of $1.50 per real estate tax bill when if it said per parcel, maybe that issue wouldn't have occurred. But that led me down the path of researching where we stand with the tax collectors and where certain things like this really add up over the course of a fiscal period. And that's how this all started, and I'm glad that we made this amendment today to make a change.
Now, the amendment, Controller Lally has read, does it satisfy, in your opinion, the the discrepancies, all the discrepancies that you have found so far?
Well, as both solicitors sitting at the other end of the table, when you look at tax collector law, it's extremely vague. The act is from 1955. It really does need to be addressed at whatever level it is to fix some of the language in this. But I think as a county, by us covering a per capita state or a per parcel, changing that language from per tax bill, I think it removes that ambiguity. Would you both agree?
Yes.
You know,
We talked about that when we first brought it up, and, you know, I mean, I think there was an argument that that's not that ambiguous, what would be the purpose and intent of the law, but it does come out.
But in reference to that argument of ambiguity, if you look at the bills that my office receives, you're getting 3 and 4 bills at $2.05 a piece. When that, I don't believe that was the intention of Commissioner Zimmerlink or Hardy at the time when they made that particular motion. I can guarantee you that was not the intent of either one of them to have that go that
What
way.
wasn't the, well, actually it was passed by the CDs, Hardy and Zimmerman, but what wasn't the intention?
That it was going to be on a per bill basis. I'm sure if you would have realized that it would have created an issue, you would have said per capita. I mean, per parcel. I'm sure that you would have done that.
Yeah, and it says per bill per issue.
Right, and that's where the problem came in, because people interpreted that in a manner that wasn't consistent with what I think was actually intended.
Any votes?
Hold on 1 second, because,
We have a motion and a second.
there's a motion and a second, but there just needs to be, one clarification. Okay. When we read the amount of compensation paid to the tax collector for mailing a second notice shall be, I read in there $2.20, but as the chief clerk pointed out, that is the new amount effective January 1st of 2014. So it will say the amount of compensation paid to the tax collector for mailing the second notice shall remain at $2.05 through December 31st, 2013. And as per resolution dated January 15th, 2013, the rate is $2.20 per bill and per capita remaining at 15 cents per bill.
Just real quick question for the solicitors and Mr. Riley. Now, this clarification now is very clear, and they should be able to interpret this in a very concise manner. No longer any ambiguity.
The only thing, and solicitors, I'm looking for your advice on this. There is a section in the law that states if the tax collector interprets a person as being over the age of 64, is that correct? That they can send a notice in a specific font size, your taxes are delinquent at this point, and what is the remuneration for that particular notice? I didn't see anything in the statute that says you are going to collect X amount. Would that fall under a per parcel price that we're establishing here?
That's the second item.
That's the second notice.
That's the second item.
It's just in the language of the law, it says, but how do you interpret who is over the age of 64 as a tax collector? How do you do that?
Well, that's not for us. That's not for us to
I was just
decide.
gonna say, I mean, I don't think, you know,
But that becomes our problem if everybody in a taxing district becomes over the age of 64 miraculously. Do you understand how that could create a little bit of ambiguity there?
well, it does, but I mean, that may be an auditing issue
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Well, most certainly.
Because they're gonna have to, you know, make that determination, again, not this body,
Right.
and,
Well, at the time that they reconcile the books with the county, would they then have to substantiate if that would be the case in point? Would they have to?
It would be subject of an audit. When they do the reconciliation, What they literally do is bring a recapitulation sheet into my office, and the numbers that we receive, the numbers that they list, have to reconcile. If they do have the reconciliation, they walk over to the treasurer's office and payment is made.
Well, my question is, would they have to identify those notices that went out to the, for the parcel of that the owner was in fact age 65 or older?
They should have to, yes.
And in that process, you would be able to, would they have to substantiate that? That's the next question.
In the audit, yes. In the report that comes to my office, it is basically a recapitulation of numbers. It doesn't really get into detail, but if my auditors went out and saw that there were, out of 600 parcels, 550 people over the age of 64, of course.
But would you be auditing every tax collector during every fiscal year?
We try to.
Okay, then that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, that's a separate issue.
Oh, I don't know, it's a check and balance, I just wanted to make sure that we have that check and balance in
I
place.
don't remember getting that.
Yeah, we did.
Well, you're only 39, aren't you?
But to make it clear, what's being addressed here is the clarification and nothing else as we read in, as they prepared and we read.
From my perspective, I don't want to do this twice, so I wanted to make sure that we've covered all of those
Yeah,
bases.
if you have any other questions on that, definitely give John and myself a call.
Anything else, John?
No, I don't.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider a motion to change the May 2013 meeting date and location to 10 a.m. This is the Commissioners meeting date. 10 a.m. on Thursday, May 23rd, in courtroom number 1 of the Fayette County Courthouse.
Move.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Consider approval of the contract between Fayette County and Fayette County Community Action Incorporated for the Safe Havens Supervised Visitation Grant financed through the Department of Justice, Office on Violence Against Women.
Move. Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item I'd like to table is consider approval of a memorandum of understanding between Fayette County and the National Road Heritage Corridor for construction and maintenance of the Sheepskin Trail.
Any reason for tabling?
There's some issues that I'm not familiar with that I think may affect the way we word this. And it has to do with grant money, so I want to make sure that we don't adversely affect any grants that we may be in line to receive.
I'm going to yell. I'm not yelling at anyone. I'm just raising my voice because of noise outside. This was on the agenda to approve the memorandum. Could you just tell me what in did both of you read the memorandum? Did you have any legality questions?
I read it, I didn't have anybody asking any questions, so I wasn't looking for anything.
I just like to know, like, what are some of the specific items that you might be concerned with before we take
Well,
it?
I'm specifically concerned about the question that the Rural Highlands Visitors Bureau had on a certain grant application that was requested, and they were considering not, well, they actually decided to not consider when it had to do with the sheepskin trail in America. And I didn't want to get into a situation where we were not going to receive a grant because of some issues.
Okay, so my understanding, it's not the language in the memorandum of understanding, it's who the named party as the grant administrator being National Road. Is that the concern, or?
Well, the concern is that because of some issues that the Rural Highlands Visitors Bureau has with
If I could address that question.
I just want to make sure that his concern is who the lead agency is versus what the language, because language is one thing that can be discussed. Changing a lead agency is something else, so before I table, I want to know
Well,
if is that,
I'm not,
or do you want to tighten up the words in the memorandum?
I'm not suggesting that we change the lead agency. I just want to make sure that we're not so restrictive that it doesn't allow us other options to
And this,
acquire grant money.
Okay.
if I may, this memorandum of understanding between the National Road Heritage Corridor and the county has to do with us being your agent as far as managing the development and construction of the Sheepskin Trail. The Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau grant program aside, we are actively pursuing applying for and receiving grants to construct the 1.4 miles in St. Marion. The issues with the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau and your Fayette County Tourism Grant have to do with outstanding grants that the National Road holds as a pass-through in most cases for other organizations, and the timeline of those projects getting done because of issues outside of our control, which I explained to the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau at the time and was told that it wasn't going to be a problem, and then it turned out to be a problem. We are rectifying and closing out all of those grants before the end of September, as we have been notified to take care of, and so those issues will all be moot at that point.
Well, I think until such a time as that those are all rectified, then we will be able to proceed after that.
I would prefer to do that if it's not.
The only challenge is that the DCNR is looking for this kind of agreement with the county, between the National Road and the county, as far as considering awarding that $150,000 grant. So that would be the fly in the ointment, so to speak, from their perspective.
And we've had that fly in the ointment for several years with
Well,
our
this is
office,
different.
and
This is different.
well, it's different, but it's
I
the same,
understand.
because we were advised that based on our failure to close out, that although there's some question still in my mind, able to submit, although we were told, at least my ears said we were not able to submit, that it would work against us in the calculation or the formulary used in determining the grant application. So I think until the closeout is successful, then I think we proceed with the MOU as written.
Okay, I just to offer one more piece of information. This has nothing, this memorandum of understanding just raises the level of the resolution we passed previously. It has nothing to do with pending grants as far as what else we might be able to apply for. But it's certainly, it's up to you whether or not you want to act on it today or in the future, and the results will be, whatever they are.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not causing a huge problem, I just prefer to.
Yeah, well, it might cause an issue as far as the consideration of that grant, but that's totally, that's your decision.
I think
Well,
we can.
They're rereading it.
I think we can resolve this easily in the next 30 days. So we'll be on next month's agenda if that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you're making a motion to table?
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to submit a grant to DCNR for $150,000 in funding to construct the Sheepskin Trail from Point Marion.
Who's submitting it?
It was, you submitted it, the county.
The county is submitting. Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item under board appointments, consider approval of a motion to appoint Dr. Amelini Schrader-Harwin as physician representative to the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration Advisory Board for a 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2015.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Are there any public announcements? Seeing none, are there any public comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You do?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you.